Hey everybody, Brookago. We have a fantastic interview for you all today. I'm very excited because I get to talk to some of my favorite devs on the planet who are making one of my now most favorite games on the planet as well, because I've been playing a game called Olli Olli World. If you have been following me for a long time, you know how excited I've been about the games that Roll7 makes. And now we get to rock with the man, the myth, the legend. We get to rock with John Ribbons, who is the creative director on Olli Olli World. John, how are you doing? Thank you so much for being here.
I'm good, thank you. And thank you for the warm welcome.
I am excited for multiple reasons to get a chance to talk to you today because, like I shared in the intro, I have been a fan of all of your work. I think you all put out some brilliant games. As soon as Olli came out, the initial game, I was hyped on that. Olli Olli World 2. Olli Olli World. I'm sorry, Olli Olli 2. Geez, you always add the world now to it.
Yeah, sorry.
Was brilliant. No, and now Olli Olli World is coming out, and one of the things that I was always trying to figure out was, what's the evolution of this game going to wind up being, and how is that going to kind of culminate in what this new game is going to be. You're now at your 10-year anniversary. Congratulations on that. How is
Hanging in there.
yeah, how have things changed over this past decade of thinking about, what you all kind of want to put out into the world? How have you attached yourself specifically really to, at least these three games? Of course there's been other ones, Not a Hero and other ones, but across these three games of how this evolution is kind of tracked along the course of Roll7's existence as well.
Okay, so
Big question, big long question for you.
Okay, so only one. That was what's the word? It was serendipitous, right? It was like we built a prototype for a thing that I'd thought about for a long time, tried to make as a kid, couldn't make as a kid, wasn't good enough at programming. Came back to, got a really chance opportunity with Sony to make that for the Vita. Somehow pulled it off, right? And Sony liked it enough that they were like, you should do, we hadn't actually finished the first one, right? But they were like, you should do another one, but better, and have it on like all of the PlayStation. And so I think with those games, we kind of, like, I'm really proud of what we did, right? But we fell into it, and then we were like, okay, well, we fall into this thing, we should do it better. Obviously, it was our first game. We cut loads of stuff because we were like, we don't have time, or like, oh no, this doesn't work. We can't figure this out. We should just keep it compact, which was the right choice to make. It meant we finished the thing and polished the stuff we had. And so I think we had those two games. They were like functionally good, but they're like what we could do with the skills that we had at the time. And I think we finished the second one and we're like, okay, that was fun. Let's park that and do some other stuff. And like never think about skateboarding again in video games. And I think as time went on, we were like, you know what, it was really fun. Like, not like I love that game, like I think it was amazing. Like I love that game, like I loved working on it. I love working on building the gameplay and like trying to build that flow state stuff and build cool combo levels and all that kind of thing. And so like as time went by, more and more we were like, I'd really like to come back and do another one. And obviously opportunity came up to do that and to work with Private Division to make like the Olli Olli we've always wanted to make. And we had a real kind of soul searchy period at the beginning of this where we went, times have changed. Not everybody wants to play like Dark Souls Meat Boy on a skateboard. Like, maybe we want to reconsider our priorities, or at least like maybe we want more people to maybe be able to enjoy it. Like, because there's definitely, I don't know, like the demo. The demo is deliberately like simpler and welcoming, right? The game is still welcoming, but definitely as it goes along, there's still that headroom for super crazy combos and difficult challenges and really precise gameplay. But the idea, the change with this one, the evolution of it, as you say, was like, how can we make like the critical path, the golden path through the game, be a little bit less punishing, be a bit more welcoming to more people? Like welcoming was this big kind of broad term. We were like, oh, we want Olli Olli World to be welcoming. Like the world itself should be welcoming, the characters should be welcoming, and the gameplay should, to a degree, be more welcoming. Like a lot, if you can't land in level 2 of Olli Olli 2, like you're going to have problems for the entire rest of the game. And so the mindset with this was like, maybe if more people got further in the game, could see more of that world, maybe fall in love with more of the characters, then maybe they'd be happy to go back and master some of the harder stuff along the way if it's optional. And so I think that's been the evolution, is going, like, to a degree, it's going, God damn, it takes a long time to make a good video game, and isn't it a lot of effort to finish it? And then I don't want just 10% of the people to play past the 5th level, right? I want 90% of the people to play the last level, because that's going to be the coolest bit.
Yeah. I mean, I, as a person who has played through all those games and loved them, and knowing what that kind of skill ramp looks like, no pun intended, it is interesting to see and hear you all talk about, the kind of skill evolution that you wind up having for most of the players in here. And it sounds like a lot of players weren't really seeing all of the good meat on the bone in the game. It feels like now, like you said, and talking about, you know, the newest game, how, you know, even when I was playing through some of it, it does feel like there's a little bit of a ease into things, which feels nice. And I love the fact that the way you kind of started the conversation when you rent people in with the tutorial has been really interesting and smart too. You know, how are you rethinking and how are you all talking about this as a team of how you're onboarding new players, while also giving the folks who have been, you know, the diehard fans in that space who are coming back to the series, that feeling of, oh, okay, we're back in it now. Let's go. We're going to run right through, you know, the stuff and kind of just dive on in. What's been the mindset and conversation you all have been having about the balance between your kind of hardcore fans and newbies coming to the series? So
there's a couple of moving parts there, right? Because there's like, one of the big things in this is like more exploration. Yeah, like there's, you've seen some of it in the demo, and you'll see a lot more of it, I guess, as we start to show more of the game world. But like this idea that there can be more than one route through a level, right? There can be like the main path, and then you can like swerve off and do some other stuff, or you can hit a quarter pipe and go back the other way, or there's a lot more. Like Olli Olli 1 and 2, it's kind of like A to B. And there might be a bit where you could take the high road or the low road, but you're pretty much going from over here to over here. If my video is flipped, this is going to look stupid. But, but the idea, like with this, is like there's maybe, it's almost like 2 or 3 Olli Olli levels like stacked on top of each other. You swerve between them. And so our mindset was like, as if I'm a basic player, no offense, basic players, if I'm going into it, I'm just going to play it like a platform. I'm not trying to do tricks. I'm not trying to combo the whole level in one go. We added checkpoints, for goodness sake. Totally forgot about this. Like, I'm not trying to finish it without using checkpoints. I just want to go to the other end of the level and see the characters there and follow the story and go on this adventure. Like, if I just want to do that, I can take the main path and I can do that. And I'll still feel good. I'll still have a satisfying experience. There's still some challenge in there. But that should be what happens, right? If I start on that path. If I start listening to Gnarly Mike when he's like, "Yo, we should go and like knock a frog off a beat" or whatever, then I might have to take a different route, and I might have to go and do something much, much more challenging and be way more precise. But that's like optional, right? Like I can choose to opt into some of the like more hardcore Olli Olli gameplay. I can choose when I want to do that. Like, we've done user testing, and there's some people who are like, "No, I'm beating every challenge on this level and all the scores before I move on." And it's like, if you want to do that,
that's me. That's why I'm one of those folks.
And that's fine. You can still play it that way, and you'll still get a heck of a challenge, right? And like I think we are being definitely more welcoming. And you know, there is the difficulty curve is shallower. There's no doubt about that. But there's also, even if you played the games before, like, there's a whole bunch of new stuff. You've got like grabs, there's new ways of doing tricks, like rotation works totally differently now in the way that you do different grinds. Like, you've got the quarter pipes, you've got like wall rides, there's a whole bunch of other mechanics that come later. So even if you're like, I was a super pro at Olli Olli 2, like there's still a bunch of stuff you can learn in this one. It's not like, I'm just going to go in and like one combo every level off the bat.
Oh yeah. I mean, even me now when I'm playing through it and I'm like, oh, that the rotation feels different. Oh, I didn't know I had grabs now. Oh, there's stuff in there. It's like the multiple paths. Like even the way you're kind of dealing with foreground, background stuff is really interesting in the way you have like even, you know, the kind of multiple, like one plane is doing one thing, but there's also like a plane that's behind it that you can kind of sometimes jump into and move around the space. That stuff is brilliant. And it also kind of shows off really well the new aesthetic, which, oh my God, you have nailed this. Like
I think.
it is beautiful. This game is nuts looking in terms of how dope it looks. I'm very excited to kind of see more of the biomes and where things land. And now you're having multiple kind of characters kind of take you through this journey as well, as long as alongside your kind of main character. I'd love to hear your thoughts about kind of going wild with the aesthetic, because it's gorgeous. It's super cool and really, really fun.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm like super pleased with how that's turned out. Like, there's always a always a worry, right? Because it's like the scary thing with any game is like the new stuff. Coming back to Olli Olli, it's like, okay, well, we know we're tweaking things. We know we're going to like maybe change how landings work and make that a bit easier. But we know that the fundamental is you do tricks, you do manuals between it once you get hard. Like, we kind of know how that works. The new bit was the art. Like, we're going to build this world. Olli Olli world is set on Radlandia, and we're going to come up with this island. We're going to come up with the people that live there and this why it exists and why you're going around it and all that kind of stuff. And so that's kind of a scary thing to embark on, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think like it's credit to the awesome team, like art, design, and narrative, who've kind of really just embraced this. I guess what we realized we're trying to do with Radlander, we're like, we want it to be welcoming. We want everything to be like cohesive. Like, you know, challenges have a face now and scores have a face, and there's someone to tell you about all of these things. They don't just pop up in like a to-do list on the screen. And so going from that as the starting point, and then it being this kind of really cool collaboration between teams, whether that's like narrative coming up with a cool character that everyone's like, that sounds great, and then you see the concept of that character and suddenly, I don't know, it's like, it's not just a seagull, or it's not just like a psycho. I'm trying to pick something that's in the demo that you've seen. Like, it's not just a psycho skipper, it's a frog, and it's kind of weird frog, and he does business, and you're like, this is really cool. Like, just that kind of escalation in, like, the genesis of the idea can come from a lot of different people on the team, right? And then as everyone plays with it and it grows, and like, we obviously track all of that lore and how it ties into the rest of the world, but that's been a really enjoyable process to do as a team. I've said this on a couple of the other calls as well, like, it's been kind of hectic like the last couple of years, right? And it's like a lot of people on the team have struggled. They've had like bad things happen because of COVID and whatever. And so I think to a degree it's been a really nice world to play in, right? Like, where we're like, well, there's a lot of scary stuff going on and it's not great, and it's almost like, as developers, it's nice to have this escapism of this like place that we're making really lovely, right? Where you're going out and like meeting cool people and the place is really pretty. And so I hope some of that shines through when you play it. Like the whole goal is to make you smile and make you want to go there. So
I was sitting there with my controller in my hand, like a you know, nice term, a smiling idiot, or just being like, oh my god, this is so gorgeous, this is so cool. Like, our show was set in a fictitious place called Brookago. And I was like, oh man, like, this is like, I want a corner store in this place. I want like a little bodega here in this place to be able to like, you know, roll past and be like, hi. But it's great. Like, again, like, I think the thing that you've all nailed across all of these games, which I come to love, because, you know, the Olli series for me is my go to bed game. Like, these are the things that I play before I go to sleep, because it has this dope vibe with the aesthetic, and then of course the music you continue to pick for your games are bangers. You continue to pick up stuff that's like, feels like it is in touch and in tune with the now, which I think has always been great too. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that too, because I think that, you know, on the creative side, you get so many influences that come in that help to influence not only the world but the gameplay and the vibe of the game in total. Mm-hmm. How important has music been to that experience of building these games and building these worlds too?
Super like, so Olli Olli 1, we went into it and it was like, oh look, I discovered so much great like rock music and like hip hop and like those kind of genres of music. I discovered so many bands I love now because of actual skate videos, right? Like, you know, I know like Joy Division because of Mark Johnson's part, and like, you know, there's all of these different influences from that. And so we went into Olli Olli 1 and we were like, it's going to be like a skate video, like the Tony Hawk. Like, how many people discovered bands they never would have listened to because of Tony Hawk's, right? And so we're like, we're going to do that with Olli Olli. And we had this like crazy soundtrack. And then we were just like, none of us listen to that music while we're playing this game. Like, it's a stressful game. and the music we'd have on in the studio was like the kind of music that's in the game, right? And there was a point where we were just like, actually, the music that's on in the studio goes better with this game than the music that we're currently trying to go and license for the game. And so that became the soundtrack for Olli Olli 1. And I just think that you're right, it's kind of interlinked. Like there's this flow to the game, and there's this, we've tried, and Simon, who's one of the other founders, who's this time around done a lot of the curation on the soundtrack, like, there's this like rule with Olli Olli that you start the game, the music starts playing, and it never like cuts. It's just this like ongoing playlist that hopefully is a similar flow to like the gameplay. And I'm not gonna lie, like credit director, I was like, this one, new art style, new biomes, like each biome will have its own genre of music. Like you'll go to the beach and it'll be like surf rock, and then you'll go elsewhere and it'll be like gnarly punk, and then it'll be like the Olli Olli sort of sound in one of the biomes of the game. Just didn't work. It turns out there is one genre of music for Olli Olli, and it's the music we've always had. And it was like, you know what, that's what we need to do. And we came back, put more of those tunes in, and we're like, yeah, this is the sound of this game. Like, it turns out we can change how the landing mechanic works, but you can't change what the soundtrack is. Like, that is untouchable. It has to be that style.
I mean, I think of it that way too, where it's like I know what I'm hoping for when I get an Olli game, and it feels like now with this new aesthetic and this new vibe that goes along with it, and the music that kind of lifts it up in that way. It just feels so like this really great sandwich. It's all kind of coming together in a really awesome and beautiful way. I'd love to hear, because I know we're running out of time. How's I know you all have a love of skateboard culture and skating culture. How have folks kind of come to the game from that side of the fence? We know we have video gamers who, of course, there are folks who game and board at the same time. We know that, not at the same time, but darn, who have that in part of their ecosystem. Or maybe
I'm sure
they are.
Someone's got an Instagram video where they game and board at the same time.
Yeah, please don't hurt anybody. But for those folks who are in that lane, how have they come to the series over the years? And now are you hearing folks who are really excited about that around Olli Olli World from the border side of things?
Oh, this is interesting. Like, I don't know how that's been received. Like, it's interesting because, like, I think definitely, like, Skater XL session, stuff like that. It's like, it's a sim. Like, if you love going and figuring out how to nollie, heel flip, crooked grind something in real life, you'll probably really enjoy the same thing in that game, because it's simulating the same action. Whereas I guess Olli Olli is like not a platformer first and then a skateboarding game, but it's like it's an exploration platformer. You're on a skateboard, and so we've always tried to be true to, like, the trick names are correct, like, and the grinds are correct, and we're like, all of that kind of thing is true to skateboarding. But I guess if you're here for a simulation, then you're in the wrong place. So, like, I know, like, the Barracks, who the skate park and the channel, like, I know that they did a post about, like, Olli Olli being like the Mario of skateboarding and stuff like that. So I think it's been touched on by groups like that. I'd love it if more skaters played. Like, I know a bunch of skaters who took up streaming, like Jaws Homaki. I don't know if you know this guy, the guy who, like, jumped down Leon to make, like, massive staircases and stuff. He's like he's super into Tetris. He, like, Twitch streams himself playing Tetris on, like, an original, I think it's a NES or a SNES. Wow. And he's super good at it. And so I'm like, there's skaters out there who play games. So I'd love it if skaters played it. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know how it's been received.
Interesting.
Positively, I hope.
I mean, I hope so too. I mean, it's a damn good series and a damn good game. Yeah, I wish I could keep you here for, like, another hour. Like, I have so many questions, but I'm sadly I know we have to let you go.
It's been super fun.
Again, thank you so much for being here. I don't know if a release date got shared. I did it get shared? If not, we'll keep it under wraps for now, and hopefully snag you for a later date. But
I don't know if it got shared, so I shouldn't share anything.
All right, we're not going to share. We're not going to say anything. We'll keep it behind in the pocket. John, thank you so much for being here. I'm infinitely excited about this game. Getting a chance to play through, some of the stuff I got a chance to dig into. I'm already extremely hyped. I'm going to be streaming a bunch of it, so don't watch it because it's going to be messing up a bunch. But It'll be good vibes. It'll be a fun time while I try to learn how to deal with all the new mechanics and everything. So, John, thank you so much for
thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you again. Hopefully, we'll be able to snag you and have you and some other parts of the team after launch, and then we can talk about the game a little bit more in depth. But for the folks at home, this is super fun. I'm having a blast with it. I'm hoping that you will check it out as well. So until then, we will see you all very, very soon. I'm here in Spawn on Me and Brookago. We'll see you soon. Much love and peace.